Try to lean on this.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here on this very special day. I just had an opportunity to tell someone from one of the television channels, said, "Why is this so special?" And I said, "Because it's about Benton." And I've made it perfectly clear that I'm not going to be around forever, but I'll just tell you one thing. There isn't anything more important in what I'm trying to do in these last few months than to be what is really Benton proud. So let me just read something that 3 years of issues is what this has been. And it's been about land, and it's been about parking, and it's been about cost, and where do you find the money? Some things always seem to be insurmountable when you look at problems. And until 2016, when we executed leases with John Young and his daughter Robin for the piece of land we stand on today and a lot to the west above the retaining wall, which will be for additional parking. Also, we were fortunate to execute an agreement with Bill White to use 40 off-street parking places on his furniture warehouse lot off of Ashley, just to the south and east of us, for the farmers market project to ensure that off-street parking was more than sufficient as opposed to taking up all the parking on the streets in front of all of our businesses. So we finally had the land and we had sufficient parking for the market, and as always, it comes down to where and how we find the money. Working the 2017 budget and trying to find $500,000 for this project with so many other issues and demands which require funding, once again, it just seemed insurmountable. We tried every way we could, but could not make it fit into the budget, either in parks or general fund. So it seemed a reasonable alternative, although it might have been thought of as crazy, to reach out for private funding from business and from individuals. Long story short, we were able to convince 31 businesses and individuals to sign on for sponsorships or donation at currently raising about $400,000 with pledges already made and discussion being held with others that could easily put us at $450 before the end of July. Thanks to Brent Davis for their enthusiasm in keeping the downtown merchants energized. I don't need any more energizing of the downtown merchants. Thanks to Tina Cawson for dealing with all the craziness, all the scheduling, all the coordinating, all the meetings, and dealing with the sponsorship documents and all donation letters that had to be kept up with, and to Mandy Spicer for keeping up with all the amounts we've raised, and an effective spreadsheet to keep me informed. And certainly a thanks need to be extended to the City Council for their support and passage of necessary legislation to keep us in line with all city ordinances and all rules. I would be remiss if I didn't also say thank you to the city attorney for his advice and counsel over these last 3 months. God only knows how he's kept me out of trouble for almost 7 years. Now let's turn to the names of the sponsors and donors, the real heroes and heroines of today's activity. Everett Buick GMC has always stepped forward. One of the first people I talked to. Summerward Partners, are David and Doug Hendricks able to make it today? Curtis and Vera Ferguson live in Sandra Carlisle. Bank of the Ozarks, Farm Credit of Western Arkansas. Smith Benton Funeral Home, Ashby Funeral Home, Kentucky Fried Chicken of Benton, McClendon's Appliances, Robertson and Associates Insurance, Roller Ballard Funeral Home, Stillwell Insurance and Financial Services, Terry and Paula Benham, Yokeman Lovell, ACDI Access Control Device Incorporated, Harvest Bank, Benton Area Chamber of Commerce, Benton Firefighters Local 2785, Downtown Benton Business Owners Association, First Security Bank, Ken Young, Regions Bank, Smith Caldwell Drug, Baxley Penfield Mowdy Realtors, David and Nancy Mattingly, Dell and Peggy Robertson, the Jeff Mattingly Foundation, Posey Service, Tim Simons, and last but not least, 111 North Main Street, which is Wanda Posey's special place. Those people stepped forward and helped us put together funding of in excess of $400,000. At this point, I can tell you that I am convinced, and I will do all I can over these next couple of months to ensure that the entire cost, which now includes the bathroom that has been added. A little bit of a quick story. A few weeks ago, we were going over some of the final plans, and somebody said something about, well, we have all those people down there, and we're going to bathroom. And of course, I immediately said, well, Brenda's porta pot. And I tell you, I got the same looks from all those people that I'm getting from you right now. You're going to do all this, and so anyway, we designed with the Black Corralino itself how the sewer line will come all the way from the back of the property up here, and we will have a bathroom, men's and women's facility. And lastly, before we go do the ceremonial throwing of the dirt, there are many of you here today, and certainly friends of ours and associates that have been so helpful to us in these past 7 years that are saying, well, I wonder why you didn't contact me. Have no fear. Phase one of this project, which I hope you all can see behind me, and the red roof on the right forefront of the picture is the restroom, is $458,000 or $60,000 now that the restroom is included. Phase two will be very similar to that, with starting on the back end of the south end and going another 56 feet, 42 feet wide, which will probably be another $400,000 or $500,000. I'm not sure I'll be around in this office or doing this thing, I'll do all I can. But I think the day will come within a couple of years where you'll have the most beautiful, effective farmers market for all kinds of events. This isn't just about selling produce. This is about bringing people to downtown for all kinds of activities that does a whole lot of things about the more people you get downtown, the greater your opportunity, ultimately to challenge and bring others who want to invest. And the renovation of downtown is created by a spark, and I believe this is the spark that creates that opportunity. Thank you all for being here. Now let me name those. Go ahead. Let me name those that are going to be hopefully with me back in the, you'll find this is the kind of real serious, difficult questions I get asked. In a meeting the other day, they said, well, it's all concrete and asphalt. How are we going to break the ground with shovels to throw dirt? I said, well, let me think. How about we get a dump truck full of dirt? That's why I get paid the big bucks. There's a dump truck full of dirt back there. So Tony Floyd, please, from the street department, is already doing some work. Sean, I think they're here, aren't they? Sean. Byron, I know is here. Randy from Black Corralino. Glenn, you're representing CDI, is that right? Okay. Jerry is representing Jerry. I know I talked to Jerry, representing our city council. Brad. Bill White, I know Bill's here. John Young and Robin Bray. Will you please join me? We'll walk to the back.